Hello, I'm Brad Allen.
And I'm Olly Hume.
And this is It Could Be Worse, the show where we make you feel better about your modern day gripes and grumbles by putting you in the shoes of someone from history who would kill for your problems.
That's right. As always, we contextualise modern issues with horrific history. I'm excited to see what you've cooked up for me today, but I should start with what I've cooked up for you, which is the complaint of the week. And I think most people will empathise with this one. It's certainly a valid complaint compared to some of my previous gripes. I was in a well-known bakery establishment. It's quite a sort of, for people who aren't aware of Greggs, it's a very prestigious, respected bakery. I was a little bit hungover, and I figured that a bacon sandwich and a coffee was the necessary remedy. I went to the counter, I bought my coffee and my bacon roll with Apple Pay, I put my phone down, I turned to grab my food, and when I looked back, the phone was gone. The thing that annoyed me the most is, as I turned around and said, hang on, my phone was there, the absolute moron behind the counter in Greggs said, oh yeah, a guy just ran in and grabbed it. A homeless guy. I was like, right.
Helpful.
Would you not think to say that at the time it's happening so that I might have a fighting chance? I think I could fight a homeless bloke.
Certainly chase him. Certainly catch him.
I could catch him. I'm not claiming to be Rocky Balboa, but I think I could batter a homeless bloke.
Thank you for specifying which Rocky you were. Oh, does he mean a dog?
Does he mean a Rocky bar, famously bought in Tesco's in multi-packs?
Yeah.
But I was so annoyed that the guy just, obviously some bloke who hates his job, works behind the counter in Greggs, fair enough, I get it. But he was like, yeah, homeless guy just grabbed your phone and ran. Give me a chance to catch it.
That is annoying.
It's really annoying. So I obviously ran straight out of Greggs, looked around for a homeless bloke, didn't see one that looked like... I can't just beat up the first homeless bloke I see, can I? That's
wasn't
not
one
fair.
on the phone. Got this. Just nicked a phone, mate.
On my phone. So just pick this up in Greggs, actually.
Didn't happen.
So, yeah, basically my gripe is having my property taken from me.
Yeah.
By means of force, I suppose.
Yeah, and this put me in mind of course, the Vikings.
Yes.
Yes.
This homeless person did have a big bushy beard.
Well, it's this sort of
like a crack Viking.
This need to defend your property from invaders.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you know about the Vikings?
I actually heard recently that the hats with the horns on the side are historically inaccurate.
Where did you hear that?
It was during the World Cup. Yeah. All the Norway fans are wearing these like helmets with the big horns out the side. And I actually think one of the commentators said, it was a pretty boring 0-0 game or something, and he was like, funnily enough, the Vikings actually never wore helmets with horns on the side.
Yeah.
Do you know that to be the case?
That is correct, that they never did that, yeah.
So these basically, like all these fancy dress shops, all these
Just
costume
wrong.
shops have just made it up, really. And it makes you question, did Roman centurions have
swords?
Yeah, did they wear armour?
I thought it was interesting during the World Cup because obviously everyone was like, oh, they're doing the Viking row, they've got their hats, like it's great.
Yeah.
And then the historical reality is that these were not good people. These were not nice people.
Yeah, I think you asked me what I know about the Vikings. I guess the first sentiment that comes to my head when I think of the Vikings is raiding, conquering, sailing over from Scandinavia to various parts of northwestern Europe and pillaging.
Pillaging, yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah, that is correct. Well, it went beyond pillaging, actually. So, like you, my sort of understanding was, they raided, came over, burnt your village, they killed the old people, they stole the young kids to sell as slaves in Germany or Africa. They raped all the women, and then they went home. But
it's a loose couple of weeks, isn't it?
It's
a big couple of weeks.
It's a big holiday.
Come home to the wife after that. How's your trip? Yeah, we did a fair amount of pillaging, stealing, killing, and raping, actually.
It's like when you come back from a stag do and she's like, how was your trip? Like, yeah. Good. I'm not going to go into too much detail over what happened.
So how are you feeling? Guilty, mainly. I've actually ruined hundreds of lives.
Yeah, I've taken 8 child slaves.
What about Magnus? Did he have a good time? Oh, he went really hard on the raping. It was awful.
Magnus went a bit hard, actually. Shouldn't joke. Mustn't joke.
Don't joke about that. Where are we seeing geographically the people who bore the brunt of this the worst?
Well, so let's just get into the...
Sorry, I'm jumping
Who are the Vikings? First of all...
Who are they?
And when? So around 800 AD, so around 1200 years ago, the Vikings started raiding the UK, and they started in Northumberland. It was, up to the north, Newcastle way.
Lindisfarne?
Lindisfarne is probably like the first...
That's one thing I do know.
Yeah, that's like the first famous Viking attack, where it was a monastery in the north. The Vikings came at dawn, killed all the monks, stole all their gold, and then burnt it down, I think.
I wonder what's going through their head when are they just thinking anyone who's not one of us is just worthless?
So, they're a different religion, aren't they? They believe in Thor and Odin. Mm-hmm. And I think the culture of the Vikings is we will do what... it's all about strength. Like, if you let us attack you, if you let us defeat you and conquer you and subjugate you, that's your fault. We are strength over everything. And until you stop us, we will take and murder.
So the mentality is, if you allow us to dominate you, we will do that.
Yeah, it's pure survival of the fittest, which I think this is one of the most fascinating things. Like this, you watch nature documentaries or something, and you see lions or whatever fighting and killing, and we're so far removed from us. But 1200 years ago, if you lived in England, that was your life. You had to fight these men, or they took everything you held dear. They took your wife, your daughter, your child. They burned your house down. They took all your money, unless you could fight.
But I would argue that, like in this case, yeah, you're right from the perspective of the invaded, but the invaders, there's no necessity for the Vikings to go over to England and rape, steal, murder, and pillage. They could just survive staying in Norway.
They could survive, but obviously man is not designed just to survive. Most humans are programmed to want more, aren't they? To accumulate wealth, riches, women, whatever.
So it's just raw ambition. These guys are ambitious.
Very ambitious. And if you think about this, so England is rich. The fields are fertile. There's gold in the monasteries and the convents. And it's poorly defended. So
it's just a bunch of old monks, really.
Yeah. There's Bernard Cornwell's written a series about the Vikings, and he had this great line. He said, the Vikings roamed the world in search of a weak spot into which they could pour with axe, sword, and spear.
And England was that.
England was soft. And ultimately, so this, as I say, started around 800 AD, and they did this for about 300 years, pillaging.
So do they go back and forth?
Yeah.
They come over, pillage for a bit, then they're like, should get back to the wife, go home for a month, and then they're like, well, due another pillaging trip now.
Yeah. Well, they started to settle. Like, I think what I didn't understand is how close England came to being Daneland, to being Denmark. So there was people, you might have heard of Alfred the Great.
Mm-hmm.
Around the time of Alfred the Great, so again like 870 AD, there was 4 kingdoms of England, and the Vikings had come over and they conquered 3 of them. They conquered Northumbria at the top, Mercia, which is like the Midlands now roughly, then East Anglia, which is still East Anglia, and the last remaining kingdom of England was Wessex. And that was led by Alfred the Great. And they defeated Alfred, and Alfred fled into a marsh in Somerset with about 20 people. And at that point, England was Alfred and his 20 men inside a marsh.
So the rest of England is conquered by...
It's conquered by the Danes.
The Vikings.
Yeah. And that was it. Like, if he'd been found then, there is no England. We'd be having this conversation in Danish. We'd be called...
We'd be wearing silly hats with horns on.
Daneland, yeah. We'd be...
Or would we? We'd be off pillaging after we finished recording this podcast, wouldn't we?
Well, would you? So this is a question I find quite fascinating. Is like... So, the Vikings are selected. So, if you're in Denmark and you're a very peaceful young man, you stay at home, you tend the fields.
Are there many of them?
Well, I don't know. But they send the nutters, like when they're going around Denmark going, we're going to England to destroy the place. Who's in?
And you only get the wrong uns signing up for
Yeah,
that. They're
you only-
like, yeah, I fancy some carnage.
You get the psychos.
I'll
who are
go
like,
on a tear up.
I could murder everybody. So
So is inherently the bad eggs making the journey in the first place?
I don't know about bad eggs. The adventurers.
Well, I guess that's sort of like, that's a little debate within itself, I suppose. In the context of Viking life, are the guys who are signing up to go on a pillaging and wreckage mission, are these to be admired? Are they like sort of upstanding, impressive characters, or are they the horrible bastards?
I think to the Danes they are to be admired. They are, again, they're the ones willing to risk life to build riches, to build an empire, whatever. Like, it depends if you think building, if you think that's a good thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, we don't think that pillage is a good thing now, but I guess in the context of it, like you say, it is basically the only way that they're going to expand their wealth
Yeah, because
is to go and take it from someone else.
It's not a fertile land.
There's no
Denmark.
crypto schemes in the Viking times.
There's not fertile fields like Wessex. You know.
Don't get me started on the fields of Wessex. My
Yeah.
God.
But they were deliberately savage, right? So let's give an idea of what it would be like to be in England when the Danes were coming.
Okay.
So there's a story of a convent, Coldingham Priory, where the nuns there, the Vikings, they knew the Vikings were coming. They'd been raping and pillaging nearby, and they allegedly cut off their own nose and lips so that the Vikings wouldn't rape them, to deter rape.
To spite the... Is this the origin?
This is apparently the origin of cutting off your nose to spite your face.
So the nuns literally butchered their own faces so that the Vikings wouldn't...
To make themselves undesirable, yeah. And the story goes that then the Vikings walled them inside the convent and set it alight. Like, screw you.
We don't really want to rape you,
But
so we'll just
we're annoyed
burn
by
you.
that, so we'll set you on fire.
That's... Okay, so...
That's what we're dealing. This is the time we're dealing with. You
So
know,
they're not admirable men, really, are they?
it's not admirable. And what they'd also do is they always try and leave one survivor, and try and spread fear that way. So,
Right,
like,
okay.
you get this person, go to the next town, and they go like, "This is what they will do to you unless you just surrender, unless you give them what they want."
So you're in the town down the road, and then this nun with no nose comes up and is like, all of the other nuns have just been burnt.
Yeah, and it's possibly the better outcome than if we didn't cut our noses off.
Yeah, so that's the question, isn't it? If you're a woman in the 8th century and the Vikings arrive, you can be burnt alive, or you can be molested
Gang
by a load of Vikings.
It's not good.
Which is better? I don't think that's a debate we
Let's
need
not
to
have that debate.
Let's not
Let's
have that
talk
debate.
about another sort of famous Viking. I don't know if they call it a torture method. Or they called either the blood eagle or the spread eagle, and this has been written down where there was a famous Viking. I think he's in the Netflix series Ragnar Lothbrok.
I've seen Vikings. He's
Yeah.
very prominent. Good looking bloke.
He's been killed, and his
Probably not in reality.
sons come to avenge him, and they capture the guy who did it. So they put him face down, and they cut in his back an eagle, like the shape of an eagle. And then they slowly, with a sword, chopped off his ribs one by one until they could see the organs.
Right.
Then they pulled the lungs back over the sort of rib shards to make a sort of eagle.
And at
then-
what point does he die
I
during
don't
this?
know exactly when he
Because it
dies.
sounds like at the point your lungs are spread across your ribs, you're unlikely to be alive.
Yes, I think they try to keep you alive as long as possible. I think probably when the lungs get spread.
I mean, I
you're cooked.
imagine breathing would be at best limited when your ribs are hanging through your lungs.
Yeah.
So that's the spread eagle.
Yeah, or the blood eagle, whatever you
Did
prefer.
he deserve that punishment for killing Ragnar Lothbrok?
To his sons, he probably
To his
deserved
sons,
it.
probably, yeah.
To English people, they probably thought brilliant. A
Christ.
couple of other things they did. One was big fan of honour. Again, you might have. There's a theme in these podcasts of
It's all about honour.
they love honour, and one of the things they had hazel branches, and if you could if a man offended you, you would challenge him to a fight to the death inside the hazel branches. They would lay them down on the floor in like a square, and you would fight to the death.
Sounds honourable.
And
with a sword fight?
Probably a sword. Let me just read again from Bernard Cornwell.
Okay, what's Bernard got to say?
And he said, it's a fight from which only one man can emerge alive, and if either man flees the hazel marked space, then he can be killed by anyone. He has become nothing. That's the price of cowardice.
Okay, at the point you sign up to this fight, it's fight to the death.
Or nothing.
Or die.
You shamed. If you
only way you survive this is doing the fight and winning.
Yeah, it's killing the other person.
Great. Sounds fun.
Yeah. Another thing they like to do, which is a bit more fun, is as they were like rowing in before battle, sometimes the leader of a ship would come outside the boat and then run along the oars in a sort of display of acrobatic agility to sort of show off to the other people, like, look at us, we're pretty sick.
Awesome.
It's quite nice, isn't it?
That is good. What would be a sort of dispute that would lead you to fight someone in the hazel bushes? Probably literally anything, I guess. Disputed claims over
a woman, land, treasure.
A phone in Greg's.
Yeah, if someone's nicked your phone.
Someone's nicked your phone, you're like, well, obviously I'm going to take you in the hay. So what I should have done is caught up with the homeless guy.
Threw down your hazel branches.
Thrown down a hazel branch and said, look, it's you, me.
In the hazel branches.
And I'm going to use my steak bake as a weapon.
And only one of us can leave. Probably a sausage roll would be a better...
Yeah. Have you ever bitten into a freshly cooked steak bake, though? It's like lava inside.
Maybe steak bake.
I'd probably squeeze that into his eyes.
Steak bake as a shield with sausage roll.
Oh, it doesn't bear thinking about.
No.
But I do think I'd emerge victorious, ultimately.
Yes.
I backed myself.
Yeah, you're probably better nourished. So, Alfred. So, as I say, he was reduced to this one tiny strip of land. It was a marsh, and apparently the Vikings just didn't have punts to get to him. And so over the winter, he called an army to him from the Fyrd of Wessex. Fyrd, F-Y-R-D, which is basically like every farmer, every landowner in Wessex is called to the king. And he emerged.
Like, we're reassembling England here, and you've been called up. Get over it, lads.
And he won a famous victory, won back Wessex, expelled the Vikings to the other ones.
Sounds quite against the odds.
I think massively against the odds.
Just
and
assembling an army of random farmers and stuff to fight these nut job Vikings.
Yeah.
And winning.
What? Again, there's, this is 1,200 years ago, and a lot is written down about Alfred because he was quite a learned man. He wasn't really a warrior. He was very religious, and he had a lot of people like constantly writing these things down.
I feel like if your sort of name is followed by the Great,
not
Alfred,
at the time.
The Great, you're probably got something about you, haven't you?
Yeah, I think he got that about 400 years later, the Great.
All right, fine.
Not at the time. And he got that basically for keeping England as a thing alive.
Yeah.
Versus the Vikings. So there was a lot written down, but yeah, nobody really knows how the Saxons won like multiple battles against these Vikings, because as you say, you've got this like team of berserk nutters selected for being berserk nutters. But I think it's fighting a war away from home. Well, we always know how tough that is.
Yeah.
Vietnam and America. We'll tell you how tough that is.
Well, tune into episode 45 for Vietnam.
And B, I think it's this Saxon mindset. If we lose, everything I own is dead. My family's dead. My home is gone. My children are enslaved. Like, I think that will give you some motivation.
You'd probably be quite up for it, wouldn't you?
I think you would be up for it. I think you would not quit.
You'd be up for the scrap. Yeah, so one question that I have, kind of going back a little bit, is a tough one. But if you are a Viking in the 9th century and people are like, you can stay at home and chill on the farm, or you can come and do some pillaging, killing, raping, are you signing up or are you staying at home?
I would have gone, I think.
You'd been up for
I
it.
would have gone.
You sick bastard.
I think, yeah, it's like, would you like an adventure, or would you want to stay at home and tend your field? I think certainly as a young man, you'd be like, yeah, I will go and seek fortune and adventure.
But then, yeah, and you'd engage in the most depraved of activities that were part of that package. Someone's like, go and chop that monk's head off,
Oh yeah,
you'd go and do it.
I'm not saying I'm going to go decapitate monks and rape nuns. That's to be clear, that's not what I'm saying.
I think you would be expected to do so.
Yeah, when the
It's the age-old debate of context is everything. It's like people who are like, well, if I was in Germany in the 30s and 40s, I would never have been a Nazi. But
you would
ultimately, peer pressure, like cultural tribalism,
incredibly powerful.
Maybe we would be beheading monks.
Probably, I have to say probably yes. I do think probably yes.
I think beheading a monk would be kind of fun for a bit if you don't value their lives.
Yeah, you don't value their lives.
See, I wouldn't be doing it now. But okay, so we've concluded that we both would
Be Vikings.
be going pillaging.
One other fun
given
fact.
the choice.
One other fun fact. They would not have called themselves Vikings. To go Viking was to go raiding. So they would have thought of themselves as Danes or Norsemen if they're from Norway.
Okay.
But yeah, Viking was a much later term, which we've just applied to them.
That came into fruition around the same time as these silly helmets with horns on.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we've said it's bad to be a man. I think, is it worse to be a woman? Again, like you're not even fighting the battle. You just have to watch the battle and you know that if you lose...
If your men lose, you're in a really
dreadful.
bad spot.
You're cooked. Well, you might be able... Like, if you're very pretty, you might be able to find one protector among the Vikings, you know?
Yeah.
Just hitch your wagon to this guy.
Pretty privilege.
Yeah.
It's still pretty privilege that's been around for thousands of years. It's still a thing.
It's really your only hope for survival.
Is there an argument for what? So, do you think just the unattractive women they just killed them?
Yeah, I'm not certain. Weirdly enough, Alfred the Great and his scholars didn't write down exactly how they did this. My guess would be. I can't have this conversation. I don't think I'm going to say it, but I think I might have to cut this. The ugly ones get killed. The mid ones get raped. The pretty ones get kept for wives and mistresses.
Wow. Okay.
But I don't think that can ever be broadcast.
It can.
I don't want that.
I'm the editor, and it certainly can stay.
Oh God.
All right. Cool.
Any other questions, or should we go to quote roast? I would say the end of this. Some say the Battle of 1066, not the Battle of 1066. There was obviously two battles. First at Stamford Bridge, where Harold Hardrada, Viking, was defeated. And some think that's kind of the end of the Viking era where, I get to say, yeah, again, like 300 years later than it started, they stopped coming over so often. And part of it, they became Christian as well. Yeah. Rather than believing in Odin and Thor, and were less likely to come and assault England. I just think it's interesting as well, the modern day Danes, Nordics, Scandies, they're like the most advanced, enlightened, seemingly sweet, gentle people. And 1,000 years ago, they would have just come and tried to take everything we owned. Yeah, but I think the people of every single country were barbaric 1,000 years ago, to be fair. It's context, isn't it? Yeah. Putting myself in the proverbial shoes of a Saxon woman in the 9th century when the Vikings arrive makes me feel like getting my phone stolen in Greg's isn't that bad. It's not so bad. I didn't get the chance to protect my honour and fight him within the realms of the hazel bush, which does annoy me slightly. I'm still obviously annoyed about it, but yeah, I think I'll admit it could have been significantly worse. It could be a lot worse. Yeah. So let's move on to our quote roast. Brad, you obviously tasked me with finding the quotes for this week. So we have a couple here from roughly around the Viking times. We'll start with the first one, which is, "No one is a total fool if he knows when to hold his tongue." Initial thoughts? This is a common theme always, isn't it? It's like you've got two ears, one mouth, use them accordingly. As a loudmouth moron, I've had numerous iterations of this quote presented to me. Basically, it seems to be unanimous that the most defining characteristic of a fool is someone who just speaks continuously. And that is what I do, so I suppose I'm a fool. Is it the Aristotle or Plato quote, or maybe it's Socrates? It's one of the Greek philosophers says, a wise man... fool speaks because he has
No, hang on. Let's go from the start.
this.
Butchered it because I'm a fool. I'm an absolute fool.
This fool's speaking
This
right
fool
now.
is speaking wrongly. No, it is. A fool speaks because he has to say something. A wise man speaks because he has something to say.
Yeah,
It might be the other way around, but
right.
the iteration is.
I like the general idea of, like the more you speak, the less you are listening and observing, and probably learning less, aren't you? But I would also say, modern day, I think it is good to be an extrovert. I think so much of modern day stuff is like selling yourself, meeting lots of people, having a network. And I think the more extroverted, the more ability you have to just connect with people and talk to people, I think would stand you in good stead. So I don't think you're a fool.
That's good to know. Yeah, I think if my 2 cents on this would be if we look at the literal wording of it, no one is a total fool if he knows when to hold his tongue. I think you can be a fool in many other ways other than just verbally. You could be an introverted, quiet person and make very poor decisions and still be a fool. So I don't think foolishness is based purely around being verbose.
5 out of 10?
Yeah, well, shake your hand on a 5.
Give him a 5.
Time for one quick one.
One more quick one, come on.
From the saga of the Johns Vikings. Better to die with honour than live with shame.
Classic Viking quote.
I feel like, again, that's sort of a theme throughout history. For me, I know I'm asking you what you think of it. I just want to say off the bat, I'm happy to live with shame. Dying with, I think if you take like a needless death just for some sort of fictitious idea of honour, I think that makes you a fool.
I think, again, it's era dependent because, for example, to walk away from the hazel bush, walk away from the hazel tree.
Well, I'd obviously never do
in
that.
shame. Yeah, well, that's because your name was mud, you were scum, you were lower than the low. And to then, you would be an outcast from society. I don't know if it would be worth living if you were just cast out.
Yeah,
So,
I think in the context of that time.
in their time, probably true. If everyone believes that, then that is true, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I think
Tricky one to rate, though, because it's very context dependent.
better to die with honour than live with shame. I'm going to say, from a modern day perspective, I honestly would give that a 4 out of 10.
Fine. I'll take it.
Okay, so that basically concludes our episode on the Vikings. I hope anyone at home with their own gripes is sort of feeling a lot better right now. One thing we will ask is, we're now 5 episodes in. I believe this is our 5th episode. We're getting some steady listens, but we want to reach as many people as we can. So if you've listened to the podcast, if you've enjoyed it, we'd kindly ask you to just recommend it to one friend.
Send it to them. Send them the link and say, listen to this and give it 5 stars.
Yeah, because if everybody who listens can get one friend to listen, that'll really help us reach as many people as possible and keep doing what we're doing.
Thank you very much.
And as always, remember,
It could be worse.
it could be worse.